This is Jennifer Leese, and I chose to do my recipe assignment for K-8 social science methods on ancient Greece. The ancient Greece civilization claim that I made is that the ancient Greece society was full of culture, intellect, and forward thinking. Their religion was made up of primarily worshiping Greek gods such as Zeus, his wife Hera, Poseidon, Ares, Hermes, Aphrodite, Athena, Apollo, and several others. They performed numerous rituals and ceremonies at altars to these gods, including sacrificing domestic animals. For their economy, they did not have a monetary system during the ancient Greek time. Rather, they bartered goods and services. And they were considered during the 5th and 6th centuries BC to be one of the most advanced pre-industrial economies. And the primary reason for this is that the average Greek worker in those times earned 3 times the average wage of a worker in the Roman period. And this is considered in terms of wheat, if they were to be paid by pounds of wheat. For their culture, the men primarily attended the theater. Women weren't generally allowed there in these times, so the men would do all the performing and be the spectators, and then the women would be at home doing domestic work such as spinning, weaving, and other domestic duties. They weren't allowed in politics or really out in the public life as much. Most of the people in this time were farmers, and they primarily ate bread and porridge with things like cheese, veggies, fish, fruit, and eggs. They used honey as a sweetener and then had just a couple seasonings like sesame seeds. The boys played games like hockey, and then other popular games amongst the people were marbles, dice, checkers, and knucklebones. This vase here is depicting Achilles and Ajax playing a form of checkers called petala. The Greek had a lot of famous inventions. They were famous for starting the alarm clock. They also did the odometer, central heating, thermometer, maps, the crane, levers, the wheelbarrow, and the cannon. And then they also started the study of history in ancient Greece, and they had several doctors who started to look for rational reasons for illnesses and their causes. So they were really forward thinking in their inventions. As far as politics, they started out as a country that was ruled by kings. They were made up of several hundred independent city-states, and they generally would have a city official in each city-state who would carry out the functions for the king. By 683 BC, however, they had switched over to a kind of an aristocratic ruling. And then there was a tyranny in the second half of the 6th century in Athens, which, when that ended, Athens founded the first democracy. And after they became democratic, then several of the other city and states followed their lead. As for their environment, they are on the Mediterranean Sea, so part of their environment is coastal, but they also have a lot of mountainous regions, so they are made up of those 2 types. And then they have several people who live in the city but also in the country, so it's kind of a split between city life and country life. They're made up of hot, dry summers, and then they have mild winters unless they're in the mountains when it could get kind of snowy and cold. My sources are listed here. I enjoyed learning about the ancient Greeks. They are a really interesting culture to study, and one that I enjoyed working on.